How did you become a teacher, bro?
Work a job where you can actually help people. And I was like, I guess I'm gonna be a teacher. That's when it clicked. I didn't know I wanted to be a teacher, but I know I didn't want physical labor.
Did you have any mentors or teachers that stood out to you that kind of helped you pave the way?
The first teacher was Chris Finley. He's a teacher at Edison High School right now. He's technically my coworker, so we're colleagues. It's crazy to be like, we work together. Force yourself to work when you don't feel like it. That's probably the greatest thing I could ever teach you.
Through this show, we strive to create a world where young individuals feel empowered to express themselves, where educators and students become partners in shaping the future, and where parents and young adults build bridges of understanding that span of generations. We aim to create a society where everyone's voice is heard, valued, and respected. Welcome to Coach's Corner.
Yes,
I want to say, man, thank you for coming on the show, bro. You're the first teacher. Mm-hmm. You've been the homie, man, since I first met you.
Yeah.
You gave me the opportunity to come into the school, speak to your classroom during COVID, right around COVID, right?
Just after,
Just after COVID, man. You gave me that opportunity to do what I'm doing now, and it's been growing ever since. So I have to give you your flowers for that, man.
Hey, man.
I appreciate you, man.
You put in the work.
Hey, let's go. Man, so first and foremost, man, you are a teacher, right? How did you become a teacher, bro? Like, how did you become a teacher?
Most people assume I'm, always wanted to be a teacher. No, I was that kid who did just enough to get in trouble, but not sent to the office. Always pushed that line. So I put some of my teachers through hell. Not like really bad, but just enough to annoy them. I never thought or ever guessed I would be a teacher. And so it wasn't until it was like my senior year in college where I was trying to go into business finance, more the applied math, more help Walmart make a few more $1 million. And if I'm being honest, I kind of felt God say, you know what, Walmart's gonna be fine. They're making millions and billions. They don't need you. So you gotta work a job where you can actually help people. And I was like, damn, I only got math. I don't have too many options besides business. So that's what it was like May of my senior year. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm gonna be a teacher. That's when it clicked.
Dang, so your senior year in college? Mm-hmm. Wow, man. So you went through a whole years of college and then finally decided what you wanted at the end of your senior year.
I mean, I'm a religious man, and I just kind of felt God call me. Like I was going to go to Colorado School of the Mines, work towards my doctorate, towards operational research, like master's had it all planned out. And then it was like, no, you're not. And my excuse to God was, well, there ain't no money in teaching. Like I'm going to be broke the rest of my life. And then come to realize you can actually get paid fairly well. You can survive fairly well with our income and everything as long as you're smart with your money. So it all just worked out. So.
Wow, man. So when you was coming up, man, I kind of want to go to your childhood a little bit. I got the opportunity to hear, your upbringing. Can you kind of just, briefly give me your obstacles, the stuff you went through to where you at now?
Yeah, it's a lot. All I got to do is say 17 elementary schools. That's what I attended. So every 3-4 months we were moving. I mean, my mom made a lot of poor decisions. She got booted out of foster care at like 14 years old, or she ran away, had her first kid at 14, 15. And I mean, my mom had 7 kids by 6 different dads. I mean, I used to be real ashamed of that, but that wasn't my choice. And we were just poor, like constantly just living from place to place in a barn, no electricity, no hot water. Grew up around gangs, a lot of drugs, a lot of drinking. And so that was just my childhood, man. I was lucky number 4 out of 7. And my older 3 siblings didn't graduate high school, and then there was me. And it wasn't looking too good for a little while. I mean, my dad, fortunately, my mom and dad separated at a young age. And he was a roofer, and he worked his ass off, man. I remember tar, knuckles, blisters all over his hands so he could make his little $14 an hour, killing himself. I knew it came at a price, and I was like, you do want to do this for your life? I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I didn't know I wanted to be a teacher, but I know I didn't want physical labor. And, through mistakes and learning and through other things, like it all slowly came together. I mean, statistically, right, I should have 6 baby mamas and 6 kids that I don't take care of, in and out of prison. I should be all that terrible things, but yet somehow here I am now. So,
did you have any mentors or teachers that stood out to you that kind of helped you pave the way?
Right.
Knew what you was going through?
The first teacher was Chris Finley. He's a teacher at Edison High School right now. He's technically my coworker. So we're colleagues. It's crazy to be like, we work together. I'll see him at conferences and FTA stuff. And it's awesome that I work with him. But Raquel overall, she was my boss at the West Fresno Boys and Girls Club. And she was probably the first person to just call me out. And I mean, it made me mad. It made me angry, made me frustrated. But I think there was a small part of me like, what you're saying is true. You're being lazy, you know, you ain't doing what you got to do. And it hurt, it made me mad, but it also made me grow too. So she mentored me for a long time and really helped me grow and get better.
Man. So what grade was one of the like hardest transitions for you? Because I know a lot of people speak about middle school, and that's where you teach at and coach at. Was middle school hard for you, or which one was hard for you?
Yeah, middle school, I ended up going to like a gate school where they mixed in everybody from all of Fresno. So when I went, I didn't know a single person. So it was just me and 800 other kids. I didn't know anybody, and it was scary. It was weird. Everybody else was really smart. I knew I was pretty good at math, but I was pretty bad at everything else, and so it was awkward and scary, man. So I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out. So I think because I remember how freaked out I was as a kid, to try and help the kids out today. Like I know how you feel. I know how nervous and anxious, and you get a little pimple, the whole world's gonna end. And so I know a lot of that stuff. I know what they're going through.
Man, that's what's up, man. So are you the only one that graduated in your family?
I was probably the first, and my older sister went back to go get her GED stuff once I did, and then my other brother, well, he didn't. My other one did graduate, got some college, and then my other sister, she graduated from high school too. So it just kind of set the path, and proud to say my niece graduated college. And so like nobody even graduated high school before me. And so to see that one person could like just start the little thing rolling, and that's what we want a lot of our people to see. Like, it's not just about you, it's about your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, your sons. They see what you're doing, and you're raising the bar for them too. So it's not just about you anymore.
Man, that's real, man, that you came from that family, you know what I'm saying, that growing up in that area, you know what I'm saying, because 17 different schools, bro. Like, that's crazy, man. I didn't even know there was that many schools, you know what I'm saying? So, man, that's different for a kid like you to come out and doing what you're doing now, man, and didn't even know that you God that was gonna put you in that place. So that's super dope, man. I kind of want to touch on the basis of school, man. Do you feel that it's a gap between students and educators?
Yeah, there's a gap. I mean, obviously, we didn't even have calculators back in our day when we did it, right? Now they got cell phones. They can do everything they want on there. And so, but yeah, it's definitely changed. I mean, there's always going to be that gap. I think every generation says, oh, this younger generation, like even Socrates made a phrase about that, this younger generation, they just don't get it. And that was thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
So I think there's always going to be that gap. But I think, we're more alike than we are different. Instead of, writing notes to people, now they send text messages and Instagram chat stuff. And matter of fact, we even have Microsoft Teams where they can just message each other on their computers while they're supposed to be taking a test. And so it's all the same, just a different way to do it.
Just a different way to do it, man. So how is it when COVID hit, right? When the pandemic happened for a teacher, right? And I man, parents, we thought we was going crazy, using these little laptops they sent home and everything. How was it for you as a teacher, bro?
Man, I mean, I came in, we had a speaker come, Jeff Fisher, great guy, pumped us up. Like, you guys can still teach. Like, we never taught online before, but I was like, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to get this right. I'm going to make them learn. Let's go. And then, like, first couple of days, it's like every kid turned their video off. I was like, oh, okay. So how do I even know if they're there? Okay, whatever. I type in questions like, I just need you to say yes or no. Type it in the chat. I got 30 kids. I maybe get like 3 or 4 to type in yes or no. I'm like, all you got to do is type in yes or no, like 3 or 4. Like, and so that got interesting. Even how do you take attendance? Like, if a kid logs in and never types anything, like, we still mark them there? Like how do you know he just logged in and walked away? So I really felt like, and hearing from kids now, they're like, yeah, I just logged in and went back to sleep, or I jumped on Fortnite, I just logged in and walked away, And so I was like, I mean, I had no power. There was nothing I could do. And so, like I said, it was depressing the first couple months when I really thought I could hold the standard up, and then I realized I just can't. I got to focus on the kids that are trying. We had virtual whiteboards, and the kids that showed me, I'd work with them. And the kids that didn't, I mean, you can call them out, you can call home, you can do all that, but nothing changed. So it was frustrating. It really was.
Man, how was it for yourself, like for you, just personally? How did COVID kind of change you?
Honestly, man, if you ask me now, I hated COVID. It was depressing. You know, I can be social. I like being in an outward setting. I like just going out and doing stuff, and then not be able to. I had a little mini depression where I got real sad because, I mean, the gym was my release, you know. And I'm a 4 a.m. guy every day. Gym closed down, so I was like, what am I going to do now? Trying to do some sorry home routine workout, and that wasn't working. And then it was like, I just reflected like, man, I'm depressed right now. I'm sad. Like, I don't like this. Something's got to change. So I used to, let me get some audiobooks from the library because you couldn't even get a book anymore. So I started checking out audiobooks through my phone, listening to them, going for a walk. And then I'd listen to an audiobook, go for a walk, and then like there's trash. So I'd grab my little garbage pickup thing, and that just became my little passive exercise. Started reading more, started taking notes on my books, and then I read a book called Atomic Habits. And then, man, that everything just, and it's one thing to read the book, but to like apply the lessons.
Yeah.
And I applied everything he said in there. Like I was like, what are some good habits I could stack? Like I could brush my teeth and pray, like little things like that. Like everything he said in that book, I took big notes on it, and then I just applied it. And that was the key right there.
Man, so during the pandemic, a lot of people, you either fail or you know what I'm saying, a lot of things, moved up in the world for you. I know for me during the pandemic, it was a turning point for me. Just, this is what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I finally got to sit down.
Right.
And reflect and think and reflect on everything. It was like, okay, it's over with now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah, so it's dope for you, man. So I got a couple questions from the viewers, right? For you being the first teacher, kind of want to go through them a little bit, all right?
Go for it.
So how do you, what strategies do you use for getting parents and students to be on the same page what you're looking for as a teacher? Okay.
Well, the beauty of my school is like a few days before school starts, we do parent-teacher conferences where they just come in, ask some questions. And there's a Remind app, so I text all the parents every Monday. Here's the assignment that's due Friday. So I give them the homework Monday, make it due Friday. Text the parents on Monday and Thursday, remind them, here are the assignments, here's the quizzes, and just try to encourage them, spread it out. Like the best thing you could do is you got 20 problems, do 5 problems every night. Try to teach them that discipline and say, you can do this. Even if you're terrible at math, I just need you to try. I want you to try and make mistakes, and I'll still give you credit if you just give it a shot. And just going to the parents I don't want to hear this, I'm not a math person. Because it's not even about math. Can you try? Can you fail? Can you mess up? And keep trying again. That's the key. And if you could learn that, you see how that carries into the real world is mess up, learn, try again. But a lot of these kids are so scared to fail, they don't even want to try. They'd rather leave the paper blank than try and make a mistake. And so I'm trying to be like, hey, make the mistake. Don't erase it. Work it out again next to it. Maybe you can learn from it. And I'll give you more points if you just leave it there. I'm really trying to encourage them. Mistakes are a good way to learn and grow.
So when you hear students over curriculum, what first comes to your head, your mind?
Students in curriculum, I feel like
students before curriculum.
I definitely, man, I'm all about if we can get students to understand and get the deeper idea, all about it, man. Because if a kid doesn't believe in himself, if they have no confidence, they have a fixed mindset, I can't learn, then it doesn't matter what kind of curriculum you have. It doesn't matter how pretty the curriculum is or how nice or gadgets, none of that. First, the kid needs to feel cared for, know that they're believed in, and believe in themselves. I heard self-love in the previous talker. They need that stuff first. And if that stuff is taken care of, I think all the curriculum, everything else will handle itself. So,
man, I was looking at the time-wise that teachers spend with the kids, then they spend the time at home. Mm-hmm. And you guys are the people they be with most of the time, right?
Right.
How do you kind of mold them into that self-love or believing in themselves, but they go home to a place where they're getting talked down to, they don't have no food? How as you as a teacher, how do you handle that?
Right. I mean, I get you for 50 minutes a day, and the other, 23 hours you're doing whatever. And you could look at it like it cancels the good that I try to influence, but that's out of my control, right? So when you're in there, just know that I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to say I believe in you. That's one of my things is motivational Mondays. And obviously I believe in you guys. I shouldn't have to say it. It's like, you know what? No, you guys need to hear it. So every Monday I say I love all my students. I care for you. I want to see you succeed. And I know you're capable of greatness. And that's the one thing that damn near put me in tears the first time I did it, because I don't think they've ever heard it. I don't think they've ever heard someone say, I care about you. I believe you have greatness. I know you can do great, amazing things. And so every Monday I verbally say that and say that they're cared for and loved. And, it might be the only time they hear it all week.
Man, that's when you hear that, when I hear you say that as a teacher, man, it's so huge, man, that you guys are like that point. We call it the pivot point almost in somebody's life.
Right.
I remember they asked this kid, like, what's their favorite subject? And she said lunch, right? And automatically, I thought about the lunch ladies that's there, right? Mm-hmm. While you're serving this kid, this could be their last meal. Mm-hmm. So how you serve them is huge, you know what I'm saying? Right. So like everybody that's in that educational world, you guys are that pivot point for these kids' lives, right. From the bus driver to the janitor to the teachers to the principals. Like everybody makes that one. You can be that one caring adult. You know what I'm saying? So me hearing you say how you got this motivational Monday is just amazing, bro. And I hope and wish that a lot of teachers take that and give it to and put it in their classroom and give these kids hope, man. When it comes to, you coach what? What sport you coach?
Football, wrestling, and track.
Okay, yeah. Football, wrestling, track, this man everywhere, man. So how do you see the kids now when it comes to sports?
I mean, the kids are a little bit less lack mental toughness, a little more willing to quit, a little more willing to whine. There's a big gap before 2020 where kind of, put your nose down, get it done. And then that year or two, and like I said, it's more of a mental thing, like forcing yourself to work when you don't feel like it. And it's much harder today than it was a few years back. And so trying to get back on track, like this is what we do. I know you don't feel like working out. Don't matter. You work out. That's what men do. And trying to get them on pace to fight through that. And so it's a little harder to motivate them and encourage them and to do that.
Do you think it's ever going to come back around where kids, because that gap, every person that I know from coaches to teachers, like, man, after COVID, cause they seem like they don't got no sense anymore.
I am hoping and praying, man. I mean, I taught for 13 years before COVID, so I definitely feel there's a big gap, and I'm hoping we can get back to it. But it takes the village. It takes everybody. It takes mom, it takes dad, brothers and sisters, coaching them up, saying, hey, step it up, raise the bar. And so at least now we're aware that it's there. So I hope it can't just be teachers or coaches. It has to be everybody trying to help out.
I want you to tell me a story of a person that you impacted before. Like, I remember you telling me. So I want the viewers to hear, man.
You want me to cry, man?
You might start crying.
I'll cry right now. I guarantee you, man. And you know what? It's good for me to see grown, confident. I'm 6'1", 280 for those of you watching. So, but it's there was one young lady, Nicole Converse, real quiet kid. I knew she paid attention, and she was a good kid, but she was real timid. And I'd always try to, hey, walk with chest up. Don't walk so timid and whatever. And I swear to you, man, I go to my son, he's at Ewing Elementary School in the dual immersion program. And apparently, somehow, he found out Miss Converse, that's his teacher. Well, that was my student. And I was like, no, you're kidding, man. When I taught this young lady, I didn't think, you're doing your job, you're trying to help. But to see the cycle, that I gave this lady my heart to help her out and to encourage her. And then now she's teaching my son. I see her at least once every quarter, every time, man, just proud. Because she had that shell. She had no confidence. She was timid. And now she's a teacher, man. It's, whoo. it took me 10 years after the fact to get the seeds sown, you know what I'm saying? And that's how teaching is. You could really invest in a kid, think you had no impact. 5, 10, 15 years later, you find out you had an impact. And so, yeah, I cry.
Man, that's
I don't hide it, man. I don't hide it.
You got me a little teary-eyed too, bro, man. That's the type of stuff being that teacher, man, that you wanna see, man. And just, I remember you was telling me about a young man too that came back to you, was telling you like all the things you told him.
Right. Oh yeah. I think it was John. He was at Scan. This was, like I said, like one of those kids you're like, he ain't paying attention. He ain't paying attention to a damn thing. But whatever, it's cool. I'll keep preaching and talking. Get a random message saying, hey, can I meet up and talk to you? I'm your former student. And then come to find out, he's a senior at Fresno State. His teacher asked him to write a letter or a paper about somebody he really respects. And, you know, he starts talking like, you're the first, like, Mexican guy I've heard, minority, that grew up in the hood, but then now you own a house. He's like, you actually own 2 houses. Like, you rent one out. He was like, I've never heard of that before. Like, we can buy a house. Poor people can get rich and buy houses. And that was the first time he ever heard that in his life. And I never thought he listened or heard or had any impact. And it took 10 years after the fact to find out that it had an impact. And then, you know, we're at Starbucks, I'm tearing up again. You know, just like, I didn't even know you paid attention. Are you serious? And so it's awesome to see these graduating from Fresno State doing good things, man. And so that's why you do it, man. There's going to be hard days, man, where you sit there like, God, I don't know. Today is not the day, man. I can't. Today I'm just trying not to get in trouble for cussing at a kid or throwing something at him, man. Like, it's like that sometimes. I'm going to be honest. It's rare, but for the most part, it's, and that's the hard part. Like, you got to wait 1, 5, 10, 15 years after the fact to find out that you had an impact. And so it's delayed gratification, to say the least.
Wow. I know they be the opportunities, man. I mean, just like the timing wise, right? Timing wise, it can be a place where you feeling down on yourself, and then this person can come say something to you like, dang, I didn't even know. I do got to keep doing this, right?
Yep.
God put me in this position for a reason, man. And let me tell you another question. So this one is huge, right? How do you support students with their social, emotional well-beings now?
Right. So the motivational Monday, try to give them that, know that someone cares for them, somebody wants to see them, you know, be safe. And then that's the other thing too, like a lot of kids see me. I'm 6'1", 280, scary dude, big booming voice. Everybody thinks I'm going to punch them or something. I don't know. But I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to lose my job, right? If I do that, why would I do that? I'm like, but I also flipped it to him. Like, I know you think I'm going to hurt you with my size. Actually, I'll protect you. And the kid's like, one kid yelling, you ain't down, whatever. I was like, dude, if I saw you getting jumped, I will jump in there in a heartbeat. Look at me if I'm lying. And they were like, okay. So don't think of my size to hurt you, but I'll use it to protect you. And that was like, you could see the click, like, okay, all right. So I'm not big for nothing. I mean, you know, you're a good sized dude. I mean, I'm a little bigger, you know.
A little bit, just a little bit, man.
And so just showing that I care for you. And like I said, it's not even just, I'm a math teacher, but it's not just about math. Like, if the best thing you can learn is to work hard and hustle when you don't feel like it. Like, if you just do a little bit, just force yourself to work when you don't feel like it, that's probably the greatest thing I could ever teach you. Because you're never going to feel like doing homework. You're never going to feel like paying bills. You're never going to feel like waking up early in the morning and working out. There's all these things you're never going to feel like doing. But if you can pick this up as a 12-year-old, man, the sky's the limit, man. The sky is the limit for them. So just trying to give them that confidence to put in the work and get ahead in the world.
Cool. Colleagues, right? So how do you ever get to a place where when you're somewhere and you see like they don't give the same same push, that drive that you give for these kids, how do that make you feel?
I mean, yeah, it is kind of disheartening, right? Like, man, they're just kind of there to work and get their job and show up 5 minutes before the bell rings and leave 5 minutes after the bell rings, and it does kind of fire me up. But it's like, you know, it's out of my control. I can't do nothing about that. So instead of getting all mad in front, I'm going to do my part. I encourage other people to go above and beyond and know that it's going to be worth it. But When teachers ask, I'll share strategies. I'll give them my lessons. I give all this stuff out. Like, I want people to succeed and do well. And I think a lot of it is teachers just overwhelmed and they just don't know how to respond. And so they do the mean, grouchy, because they're overwhelmed with all the stuff. And so I think, if everybody had the choice, they'd be that great, awesome teacher smiling, having a good time. I don't think they intentionally chose to be, whatever it is. Maybe it's stresses from home or other things that are draining the tank right there.
Man, that's good, bro. Like I'm super just grateful to have you on the show today, man. And before we wrap it up, I want you to kind of give that student, right, a good example and a good just like one of your motivational things, man, about failure and fear, man. And the floor is yours, man, right now.
Oh, man. I think successful people aren't scared to fail. I think most people don't have enough confidence to try, so they just don't try at all. Because if I try, I might fail, I might lose. But successful people know that a failure is an opportunity to learn. And I'm not scared to fail. I know that this mistake is a stepping stone to get better and better and better. Versus the fearful person's like, no, I just won't try because I don't want to say I messed up. And so that's what separates the great from the okay, from the not succeeding at all. So I want to fail, mess up, make mistakes, but learn from it. You don't just mess up and keep doing it again. That's just bad choices. But if you make a mistake, okay, here's what I did wrong. Back to the drawing board. Let's fix this. Bam, go at it again. Do it better next time. And then honestly, nothing can stop you. If you can be strong enough to do that, nothing can hold you back.
Love it, love it, love it, man. Hey, what would you tell your younger self right now?
Work hard, man. If you work harder than everybody else, I'm telling you, man, you can overcome anybody. Because I was not a great athlete, but I just worked harder than everybody else. And they stopped working, I kept working, and that's it. You eventually pass everybody up. It ain't no secret.
Man, ain't no secret to success, boy. Just keep working. Hey, that's a wrap, man. That's a wrap. That's our first teacher today, boy. It's your boy, Coach Cordell. This is Coach's Corner. That's a wrap. Let's go. Thank you, man.
Welcome to Coach's Corner, a platform dedicated to giving students and young adults